lawn gnome with a very overdue video response, and I am pointing the finger at Coltsandcubsfan. If you guys are pop collectors or you just enjoy nerdy stuff, I highly suggest that you check out this couple. They are absolutely delightful to watch, but they recently posted a video, and it was Ben Affleck Batman versus Christian Bale Batman. Obviously, it's because of the fact that the big news in the world of film was the fact that the Batmobile and the costume that Ben Affleck will be wearing in the anticipated Batman vs. Superman was revealed to the public, and now it's all over the internet. And they basically gave their little spiel. One of them was against Ben Affleck becoming Batman and a Christian Bale purist, and the other one was willing to give Ben Affleck a chance, even though Christian Bale is a great Batman. There were a couple of things that they said that I was very uneasy about, and I really wanted to just throw out all of my thoughts. One of the few things that I have to say about Batman is, when it comes to Batman, before the Christopher Nolan films, those Batman films that were directed by Joel Schumacher and Tim Burton, as a Batman fan who loves the comic books, I thought that they were some of the worst movies that I have ever seen in my life. When it comes to knowing what Batman is like, thanks to someone who I practically idolize, whose name goes by Bruce Timm. If you don't know who Bruce Timm is, he created the Batman animated series and thus became the grandeur of the DCAU. Bruce Timm really was the one that encaptured Batman the way he was supposed to be. The perfect voice to voice him in Kevin Conroy, and his rogues gallery, as well as the fellow Gotham Knights, including Robin, Batgirl, and Nightwing, were all put together in a show that was sort of like a movie, with other celebrity voices throughout, and it just came together and gave us one of the greatest depictions of Batman, and probably the best depiction of Batman. And even a full-length film in Mask of the Phantasm, unfortunately, it didn't get the credibility that it truly deserved due to poor marketing and a December 1993 release. But if you take a look at Mask of the Phantasm and you compare it to the Tim Burton Batmans, if you don't think that that's a better movie, then I'm sorry, there is something seriously wrong with you. And when I say you, I'm not pointing at Coltsandcubsfan. Tim Burton, as great as a movie creator as he is, I'm a big fan of his work. As you can see right behind me, I've got tons of Tim Burton movies right here. Batman was miscast. I think that Michael Keaton was the wrong person to fill the Batman cape and cowl. Batman is 6'2", he's not scrawny. Michael Keaton is not Batman. The Joker is not suave. He is a tall, lanky, psychopathic, crazy killer. That's not Jack Nicholson. When it comes to the Batman films that Tim Burton made, the only thing that he got right was Danny DeVito as the Penguin. I thought that that was the greatest depiction of the Penguin that I had ever seen. And to this day, I am wondering if they will ever bring Penguin back to the big screen, especially if they plan on expanding Batman films. But when we go past the monstrosities that the Schumacher films were, and don't even want to talk about miscasting, we then had Christopher Nolan. Now, Christopher Nolan really redeemed the Batman franchise, loosely basing his 3 films on various Batman stories. Some of them were Batman Year One, all the way to The Dark Knight Returns. We got Christian Bale, who was finally the perfect depiction of Batman, minus the growl. That was the only thing I didn't like about him. And of course, you also got the perfect rendition of Bruce Wayne. We also got excellent actors and actresses who portrayed the villains. A lot of people were skeptical about Heath Ledger playing the Joker, but believe me, as much as I would have loved to see Mark Hamill, he really did a phenomenal job. Rest in peace, Heath Ledger. Other actors including Liam Neeson, Cillian Murphy, Tom Hardy, and even Anne Hathaway all did a great job as these characters. I was very upset over the fact that they stopped at 3 films, and I think it's just because of the fact that as Batman fans, we all wanted to see a Nolan Universe version of villains like Mr. Freeze and the Penguin and the Riddler and the Mad Hatter, who knows? I mean, for the love of God, Mr. Zsasz showed up in Batman Begins. I'm sorry, that is not fair. And I'm also not a big fan, and this goes way back to the days of Tim Burton. I didn't like the non-spandex or flexibility of the Batsuit. I just don't like the armor. Now, granted, you can probably say that the New 52 is highly based on the Christopher Nolan Batman armor, but I don't know, there's just something about it that I don't like. They always manage to keep Superman's uniform close to the comic book rendition. They did it for Spider-Man as well. They even did it closely for Captain America. But I don't understand why they just want to steer clear from the glove-like suit that Batman wears in his comics until now. So as far as I'm concerned, I think that Christopher Nolan did a phenomenal job at rejuvenating Batman, and Christian Bale was a phenomenal Batman. And I know that when they were considering greenlighting this brand new movie, they asked Christian Bale to fill Batman's shoes once again, but there was this whole controversy about how we cannot put the Christopher Nolan universe in this new DC universe. No offense, I think that's pure and utter horse shit. Now we have a brand new person that's going to be donning the Batman uniform, and that is Ben Affleck. Yes, Ben Affleck has had a lot of past negative publicity. He has made some bad choices in his career. But that's the thing that I really hate about all of these Ben Affleck haters. Why are you constantly dwelling on this past? Yes, in the beginning of his career, Kevin Smith basically found him as his muse. He was a great character in Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, and you know what? I'll even give him credit for Jersey Girl. Kevin Smith just knows how to work him. But then you had all of these horrible renditions of him, like Armageddon and Reindeer Games, and yes, then we come to the one movie that everybody talks about just because it's comic book related, and that is Daredevil. I want to make something perfectly clear about Daredevil. It's not Ben Affleck's fault. It was the writers, it was the script, it was everybody behind the cameras, and maybe Jennifer Garner. But it was not Ben Affleck who ruined that movie. Any actor that does have some kind of a talent, if the movie is not good, they still will not be able to use their prowess to make chicken soup out of chicken shit. I'm sorry. So I want to ask a question. When you take a look at Daredevil, go onto IMDb and see what year Daredevil was released, and try and think of a great actor at the time that could have possibly taken up the helm as playing Daredevil in that year. I really want you to think hard about this, because as far as I'm concerned, there was no one else that was better to play Daredevil than Ben Affleck. I believe that if a better script was written for him, it would have been a much better movie. And that's all that I'm going to say about Daredevil. But as Ben Affleck's career moves on, you see films like Argo. Before that, you had movies that he directed and even starred in, like Gone Baby Gone and The Town. People who constantly say Ben Affleck's a bad actor has obviously not seen these three films. And there's something seriously wrong with you, because these are some of his greatest work, and because of the fact that he made these movies, I feel as a film appreciator and a film fan, he has gotten his credibility back, because he hasn't gone on the decline since Argo won Best Picture. So now he's going to be putting on the Batman suit, and I truthfully believe that he's going to do a good job. And why is that, you might ask? Because of the people behind the camera. Unlike Daredevil, we have Zack Snyder, who's practically going to be directing every DC film that's coming out in theaters, all the way through Justice League. Now, a lot of people may have mixed feelings about Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder is still a relatively new director, and he doesn't really have that many films to his name. I can probably count them all for you right now on one hand. Here we go. 300, Watchmen, The Legend of the Guardians, The Owls of Ga'Hoole, Sucker Punch, Man of Steel. Now let's subtract the two bad movies in that group. The Owls of Ga'Hoole and Sucker Punch. We have three films left. What do they all have in common? They're all comic book based. Zack Snyder is a comic book purist. He's a comic book fan. When I heard that he was going to direct Man of Steel, my hopes were high, because I knew that as a comic book fan, he was not going to screw this character up. And as far as I'm concerned, he gave me the Superman I've always wanted on the big screen. In Snyder, I trust. I think that him picking Ben Affleck, and a lot of people are upset that he chose Jesse Eisenberg to play Lex Luthor and Gal Gadot to play Wonder Woman, but let's take a look at this. There's a method to his madness. He's picked every single one of these actors for a reason. He obviously believes that there's something about these actors that will work and that they'll be able to fill the shoes of these iconic superheroes properly. And that is why I have no issues and no hesitation to see Batman portrayed by Ben Affleck. I think that he will do a good job because he has a good staff of writers and directors and everything else behind him when he finally shows up as Batman on the big screen. I think that he will make a fantastic Bruce Wayne, and I know that he's going to go through some rigorous training to get the body that he has to have for Batman. He may not go to the extremes like Christian Bale did, because not only did Christian Bale do something like this, he also dropped so much weight in the movie The Machinist. I have high hopes. I don't think that this movie is going to be bad at all. I think that Zack Snyder was the perfect choice to lead the DC franchise to cinematic glory, and I believe that Ben Affleck as Batman is a wise choice. So for all of you that still want to just bask in the doom and gloom about the fact that Christopher Nolan is done and there's no more Christian Bale and Batman, big deal. You can go sit and do your macrame while we all go to the movie theaters and watch Batman vs. Superman and probably walk out of those films with smiles on our faces. That's it, guys. I hope that you appreciate this little rant, and I hope that I didn't give you guys too much of a hard time, but those are my opinions. I want to recommend a couple of animated films that you guys should see. You should see Justice League: The New Frontier. You should see Batman Under the Red Hood, Justice League Crisis on Two Earths, and you should also see Justice League War and Son of Batman. These are all Batman DCAU films that do not feature Kevin Conroy as Batman's voice, who we all know and love. This is Batman portrayed in various voices, in various forms, and I really think that you will see a very interesting couple of films. If you do see them, I wanted you guys to give me a response and give me your feedback on what you thought of them. But for now, I'm looking forward to seeing Ben Affleck as Batman. Colts and Cubs fan, I will put a link to their channel below. Looking forward to more of your pop reviews, guys. You do a great job. Actions speak louder than words.